Inside every single one of your cells, right now, there are these tiny microscopic architects just constantly at work. They're the little factories building literally everything that makes you, well, you.
Yeah, just stop and think about that for a second. Everything from your hair to your hormones, from the muscles you use to move to the enzymes that are digesting your lunch right now. What single, tiny machine is responsible for all of it? Well, the answer is the ribosome. And while they're way too small to see with a regular microscope, you really shouldn't let their size fool you. Honestly, without these little guys, life as we know it just couldn't exist. Period.
Okay, so what is this thing? This absolutely essential piece of our cellular machinery. Let's break it down.
All right, so at its core, it's a microscopic machine, and you find it inside every single living cell. I'm talking plants, animals, even the simplest bacteria. And its one job is, you could argue, the most important job in the entire cell, building proteins.
This is probably the best way to think about it. Imagine your DNA is this massive, detailed architectural blueprint for your whole body. But a blueprint can't build a house by itself, right? It needs a construction crew. The ribosomes, well, they're the construction crew, reading that plan and building everything the cell needs to survive and thrive.
Okay, so ribosomes build proteins. Big deal, right? Well, yeah, it's a huge deal. Turns out these proteins are basically the foundation for almost everything your body does.
I mean, look at this list. Proteins really do, well, everything. They give structure to your muscles and bones. They act as messengers like hormones. They speed up chemical reactions as enzymes. They literally form your hair and your nails. They help repair injuries, and they are your first line of defense against getting sick. And the ribosomes are building all of this all the time.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Not all proteins are meant for the same job or even the same location, and it turns out where a ribosome is physically located inside the cell actually decides the protein's final destination.
So you've got two main workplaces, right? If a ribosome is just floating around freely in the cytoplasm, that's the jelly-like stuff inside the cell. The proteins it makes are for internal use, things like enzymes or structural parts. But if it's attached to what's called the endoplasmic reticulum, or, the ER for short, it's building proteins that need to be shipped out of the cell. Think of things like hormones that have to travel all over your body.
All right, so we've covered the what, the why, and the where. But how does this tiny machine actually read the blueprint and build something so incredibly complex? Let's walk through the process. The whole process is just so elegant and efficient. So first up, the nucleus sends out a temporary copy of the DNA instructions. This message is called mRNA. Then the ribosome clamps onto this mRNA and starts reading it, kind of like a ticker tape. As it reads, it grabs these specific building blocks called amino acids and links them together in the exact order the recipe calls for. And boom! Once it's done, you have this long chain that folds up into a new, fully functional protein ready to get to work. And that Lego analogy? It's just perfect, isn't it? Think about it. The mRNA is your instruction booklet. The ribosome is you, the builder, carefully reading the instructions, and the amino acids are all the little Lego bricks that you snap together one by one to create the final masterpiece. So what exactly are these Lego bricks we're talking about? They're chemicals called amino acids. And get this, there are only about 20 different kinds of them. But just like with Legos, by arranging those 20 blocks in different sequences and different lengths, ribosomes can build millions and millions of different, unique proteins, each with its own special job. So we already know they're important, but I want to share a few facts that will just blow your mind and really put their incredible scale and significance into perspective. Okay, this first one is just wild. The ribosome is universal. It's basically the same machine whether you find it in a human cell, a tree, or a tiny little bacterium. It's this ancient, perfected piece of machinery that connects pretty much all life on Earth.
And the sheer number of them, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. A single human cell, especially one that's growing fast, can have millions of these little factories just humming away at the same time. Millions in one cell.
Now here's a fun little twist for you. You'd probably guess that a machine that builds proteins is made of proteins, right? Makes sense. But nope, it turns out ribosomes themselves are mostly made of RNA. Yeah, the close cousin of the very DNA they're reading instructions from. The machine is made out of almost the same stuff as the instructions it follows. How cool is that?
And this quote, well, it really says it all, doesn't it? If a cell couldn't make proteins, it would die almost instantly. There's no wiggle room there, no ambiguity. Without ribosomes, the cell just stops. It's the ultimate life support system.
So if there's one thing to remember from all this, it's this. Ribosomes are the tiny, tireless, universal factories that take the abstract code of our genes and turn it into the physical reality of life itself.
I mean, they build everything that makes you, you. Every single part is the result of their non-stop work. So that leaves us with one final, pretty important question. When they are this crucial, what do you think the consequences are when just one of these millions of tiny workers makes a mistake?